far ahead of me she is. You shouldn't tell
She's
me.
one ahead of you. One cell ahead of you.
Oh, shit. That bitch is going down. Sorry, I'm just.
By the way, did I refund you when you built it? If not, I need to go in there and refund you.
Don't worry about it if I don't remember.
I will check it out.
Okay, I think we're
Are we? One cell.
Hi, we're here.
We did it.
We're live.
Hello. It's good seeing you, Monica.
Yeah. So welcome to the first time of us doing a live broadcast on the YouTube channel, because it totally picked up. The first thing with me saying was that bitch is going down. Okay, let my face turn to a normal color. I meant that in a very friendly competition way, just so you guys know it's an affiliate contest. And if you need to know more about affiliate contests, there are great videos here on the YouTube channel for ScriptDoll about those. Anyway, that's actually a great thing to do in affiliate contest, is to get your competitive juices flowing. But I'm not here to talk about that today. Today, I have with me the amazing host of the CLICKpreneur Summit. This is Mr. Mark Stern. Mark comes to us from a world that is very similar to my background, a top consulting firm. He comes from Deloitte. I came from a different one. But he is a top rated one, and he did something called innovation strategy. And he smartly, like me, decided to use his skills to turn it into entrepreneurship, has created this amazing, amazing thing here called the entrepreneurial elements. And he took each of these elements and found somebody to talk about them in this amazing thing called the CLICKpreneur Summit. So I am a speaker because, right? And we have lots of other speakers. So Mark, welcome.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be on here. And this is my first time going live on YouTube too. Many times on Facebook, but this feels like a new adventure. So thrilled to be here, Monica.
Yeah, so just as a side note, if it tells you it's live, it is actually live a few seconds earlier. So you might want to mind your P's and Q's if you're deciding to go live on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so great to have you. And so tell me, Mark, tell me a little bit about your transition from, Deloitte and all the amazing things you were doing there. I know you were known as, a story guy and like very innovative things for these amazing Fortune 500 companies. So tell me a little bit about this journey to, from that to CLICKpreneur Summit.
Yeah. It's a great question. I mean, I think for me, I was one of those guys that followed the path, and like, this is the path to happiness. So like graduated high school, went to college, graduated college, had a job I loved out of college. Then I went back to school and got my MBA. And then it was like 2012. And I think deep down inside, I've always had this entrepreneurial itch, but have been so focused on the path because everyone that I knew and everyone that was like me, was on the path too. So my bubble was very intact in that realm. And, it was 2012 that like deep down inside, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I'm graduating from business school and I have $165,000 in debt. And I'm about to start this career at a consulting firm. And, flash forward to today, I loved my journey with Deloitte. I had worked with amazing people. The work I did there was, it was really fulfilling. But what was really struggling was I didn't really have a personal life outside of the firm. And, I was the typical road warrior in which every Monday at 4:45 a.m. I was in a cab to the airport, and literally every single week, living out of airplanes and living out of hotel rooms. And finally, I was just like, I need to build foundation and I need to scratch this itch. So Entrepreneur Elements, which you just showed, Monica, this product, and people can go to, I think, entrepreneurelements.com and get a free copy of this. What this was, making the transition into entrepreneurship. I've been a fly on the wall for years. I've gone to all the conferences. I bought every training that you could buy.
That's how we met, actually, is through
a coaching program.
Yeah, a coaching program. So,
and it's funny because I think people can relate to this, because this was very much like, for me, buying trainings was like a form of medicine to want to like scratch the itch for becoming an entrepreneur. But the core message that, there's a lot of people out there like me that are looking to make that transition out of corporate. And I call where I came from was deep corporate. And when I say deep corporate, it's you're so ingrained with the company you work for that you either don't have time to start a side gig or side hustle, because 9 to 5 doesn't exist in your world. It's a pipe dream. You're working 24/7. Or B, by contract, you are not allowed to own anything outside of what you do for your company. So that's very typical for consulting firms. And it's very typical for big tech companies as well, that they're very protective of their IP. So making the transition to entrepreneurship, like the biggest realization I had was corporate versus entrepreneurship is like checkers versus chess. The game board may look the same. The rules of the game are completely different. So
absolutely
get that ingrained. Like the whole premise of like what this is like, this was my attempt at saying, how can we get back to the basics of entrepreneurship, since it's really the wild, wild west. It's hard to, people will pitch at you at all different angles. People know how to trigger the different chemicals in the brains to sell you a product. How do I like create a 10,000 foot view of entrepreneurship in a way to say, I can strategically think, do I need to spend money on this? And will this help advance my business? So that's where that came from. And really that became the baseline to your question about the CLICKpreneur Summit. When building the virtual summit, it was very much, entrepreneur elements, and that framework was the inspiration for like the back end of how we structured it. But the core message again is, if you're looking to play a new game, you got to look at entrepreneurship as a game. And if you're playing a game, you got to learn the rules.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you decided to put together a virtual summit, and you collected how many people?
I think that there's like somewhere between 40 and 50 people involved with the event. Speaker wise, it's like 30 pre-recorded sessions that are going to go live on demand throughout the summit. And then we have live sessions on top of that. So it's easily somewhere between 40 and 50 hours worth of content. So there's so much amazing content, and it's free. So it's free to participate and have access to that.
Yes, absolutely. And don't worry, there will be a link below this video for you to go and register for free. But so I think that, in your journey, I can relate a lot to that, because I know when at my consulting firm, they're like, the minimum you will bill per week is 45 hours a week. And that does not include the travel time and, anything. So there was definitely high expectations for you to be billing lots of hours. And so I feel you. I mean, I did the same thing. I had to leave because I needed a life. Which, took me I went a slightly different path than you, but so I'm super excited that you asked me to speak. I do want to say thank you. And my session is actually about building your lead magnet in 1 hour. So your Optimate, your lead magnet, whatever you call it. And Mark and I just hammer one out for the CLICKpreneur Summit in the hour. So you guys get to see that live and in action if you want to watch my session. And Mark, can you remind me when that is? Because I forgot.
When Tuesday, it is, right? Your session is going to be on Tuesday.
Yeah, on Tuesday.
October 2nd is when you're going to go live with your session. And I'll say this, it's unlike most of the other sessions because she really put me on the spot. And you are literally like seeing how we are thinking through and processing the breakdown of a lead magnet, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is actually pretty cool because, Mark comes from obviously a very different background than most people who have started a business or have jumped into this digital marketing thing. So it was really great to be able to do that just back and forth. And I think that, when you do watch that, be sure to just pay attention to how we're thinking, right? This outcome is going to be slightly different than what you're looking for if you're building a lead magnet, but the thought process is still correct. And we, structure that. There is definitely a framework that we used and walked through. And so just watch that one. And then I know there's a couple of other speakers that the ScriptDoll audience would be really, really, really excited to hear. I'm actually can't wait to hear their sessions personally. And the first one is Miss Tina Lorenz, who I think, was it Frank Kern who dubbed her like the queen of copy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she wrote his $1 million sales letter, right? So,
this woman is incredible. When you're talking about like a tried and true copywriter who just has the lens, Tina Lorenz's session it's definitely a highlight for the summit. She literally goes through and says like, these are the 10 components of what you need to know to write $1 million copy. And they build upon each other. So components 1 through 9 lead to the 10th one, which is all about looking at copy as a means of, it's truly there to build relations. And you want to script it in a way that people resonate with the tone, resonate with the message, because the goal should be that people, the call to action is very clear, that they want to continue the relationship with you. So she has worked with so many bigwigs, so many big names to do copy. And she's probably one of the most humble people, most genuine people that you'll ever meet. She's incredible. So it's absolutely one of those sessions that I would highly recommend checking out.
I cannot wait. Can you remind us of when that session is?
Yeah, I believe Tina's session is going to be on Thursday. So that's October 4th.
Awesome. Because wait, I'm sorry. I should have asked you, tell me about the session as a whole. Like you have it structured certain days
Yeah.
or certain things. Can you tell me the start, the stop? It's October 1st through 5th, which is next week. Monday, actually Monday. It's not even next week, really. It's already Friday. So tell me a little bit about the days and how you structured them and why.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I didn't want to just like kind of throw everything together. And this was very much inspired by how I structured entrepreneur elements, but the overarching story for the summit, there's 4 key phases that I want to take people through. One is foundation. So it's about building your business foundation. And it's really the critical elements that I think is probably the most important part of starting a business. And that's like, what is your motivation? What's the thing that's going to get you out of bed in the morning to work on? Why are you doing it? Then understanding the market landscape, understanding the competitive landscape, understanding your dream client avatar, all the way down to like what their pain points are, how you can serve them, and some branding basics. That's like just building your business foundation. So day 1 is about foundation. Day 2 gets into strategy. So now that you have your foundation, how do you, what is the what you want to achieve to serve the foundation? So this is like your business objectives and business planning. Day 3 gets into tactics. Tactics are different than strategy because tactics are how you're going to achieve the strategy. The strategy is the what, tactics are the how. And then finally, days 3, 4, and 5. So the 4th and 5th get into implementation. So this is like thinking through team structure and thinking through the platforms that you want to use for your business. So that's the overarching story: foundation, strategy, tactics, and implementation. And it's really structured in a way that like, when I work with people, I'm trying to teach them that you can do 3 of those phases without spending any money. It's just about thinking strategically about your business. And it's to get people to rewire. If this is the one thing people take away from the summit, it's oftentimes we jump at the shiny object, which is like that phase 4 implementation piece. And we buy the marketing platform because we're sold a vision. And the reality is that may not be the right platform to achieve the goal that you have set for your audience. So it's about thinking you shouldn't let the platform dictate the strategy. Your strategy needs to dictate the platforms that you use for your business.
I mean, that makes so much sense. And I don't think that people think about that way, right? Because there's so many different tactics to use in online marketing, right? But where does that fit in your strategy? And if you follow Mark's advice, it will help you stop your shiny object syndrome, which we are all a little guilty of, right?
I'm guilty of it too. We talk about this all the time too. It's funny because we're like, at one point we're in an accountability group, Monica and I together. And I think at one point we said, no one's allowed to buy any more trainings. Like stop with the trainings. We have enough
implement what you have. I mean, we say that all the time too, to like even our list. We're like, if you haven't done the last thing we taught you, don't come do this one too. But there's always that like FOMO and all the good stuff that frankly we use in copywriting to get you to buy the shiny objects. Yeah. So that's really fantastic. So there's actually somebody else I think that the ScriptDoll audience would be really smart to listen to. And that's Allie Lefevre. Did I say that right?
You said it right.
Awesome. So Allie has a great approach on sort of the tone you should take. Can you talk a little bit about how her session was and what we can expect?
So here's what's funny. She was actually the very first interview I conducted for the summit. So it's going to be interesting because that's like the first time that I really had formally interviewed someone. But it's such a powerful session because what Allie's core message is, and Allie has a similar background to Monica and me, that she also came from corporate consulting. So she started out when she jumped into entrepreneurship. She's done a lot of entrepreneurial ventures throughout her career. But last year, I think it was the beginning of 2017, one of her closest friends came up to her and they decided to start a podcast that was called, they decided to do a podcast on Harry Potter erotica. So Harry Potter erotic fan fiction, since Harry Potter fan fiction is one of the largest of the fan fiction domains out there. And they have this huge niche that is about erotic fan fiction. So they started this podcast where they would find and source a piece of erotic fan fiction and that they would read it on air and provide the commentary over it. And so there's 3 people and she's one of the co-hosts of it. And this podcast just blew up. And it was all about humor. It was all about laughter. It was all about like just the medicine of like something that like connects so many people. And she built this huge following in this tribe in like no time, to the point that if you flash forward to today, her community is actually producing the erotic fan fiction that is their future seasons. And I think they're about to launch season 8. So like they're crushing it right now. But the fact that they've grown a community that they self-identify as Potterotics, it's incredible to see how she like infuses humor, and her core message, because since then she and Lindsay have together launched an agency called Obedient. And the Obedient agency is truly trying to coin a position in the marketplace of humor marketing and how do you infuse humor into your brand. So when you talk with her, she's glowing because she went from a highly corporate environment to using the power of, language and the power of humor to completely transform the business of her clients. So it's so much fun to watch her. And she's
awesome.
She's just crushing it right now.
Yeah. And I think, when we write copy and we write some stuff, sometimes we feel like it's got to be very formal, but it really does not. So, listening to that, you can get some ideas on how to add humor and some personality into your copy, no matter really what your business. Just think about, how you might be able to use these techniques for you. And when is her session?
Her session is Tuesday. So it should go live on Tuesday.
Awesome. So you need to be listening to me on Tuesday and to Allie and to Tina on Thursday. Is there anybody else you would recommend for, people who are writing sales copy or just, brand tone or voice or anything along those lines that we like to talk about?
There's so many, to be honest with you, that I think that for different reasons, Kevin Tracy goes into nobody gives a flip about your logo. So he's really getting into, it's more the essence that you put off as your brand. It's not about the look and feel of your logo. So I thought that was a really powerful session that he put together. There's one that's on influencer strategy. So it's like thinking strategically about how you position your business that Latasha is going to be doing live. There's so many. So
the influencer strategy.
So that's going to be Latasha Mitchell. She's doing that live on Tuesday as well.
Awesome.
But it's so hard to just pick a handful because I would say if you see the agenda, it's like 3 or 4 pages of topics. There's over 30 speakers. So what's a lot of fun for me is you'll actually see me taking notes during a lot of the speakers, just because there's just so much value that they're just offering up. And again, this is not people pitching their products. It's not perfect webinar with a upsell at the end. This is just people having a conversation on their topic. So they're just providing value. So it's not a pitch fest.
Yeah, I think that's really important because nobody wants to get trapped in the middle of a pitch fest.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, Mark, thank you so much for putting together this amazing summit. And you guys, October 1st through 5th, that's next week. I'll put a link below for you to register. It is free to register. So come watch these people talk and see all the fun stuff going on in the summit and get into the community. I know Mark and I are both pretty active in that Facebook group. So you'll get the invitation to join that after you register.
Yep.
We would love to talk to you more about that there. And Mark, is there anything else you want to say about the CLICKpreneur Summit or why the person watching this should click below to register now?
Although we do a lot of messaging around making the transition out of corporate or whatever realm you're in about learning the game of entrepreneurship, the content is, if there's an element of entrepreneurship that is brand new to you, even if you're a veteran, there's value in the summit, and it's easy to navigate to new areas. So something like affiliate marketing, that's another big topic that I think is important that every entrepreneur knows about. Because I've had
you assembled a live panel for that, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. We have 4 to 5 of the biggest names for digital marketing.
Can you name drop for me, Mark, please?
Who do we have? Lindsay Bosch, Greg Jeffries, Rachel Lee, Dan Frigo, a couple others that are going to come in that one. So that one's going to be a really powerful session. I think that's at 11 Central on Thursday. And with all the live sessions, since there's a lot of on-demand content as well as live content, you can easily access it and tune in via the Facebook group. That's where we're going to be going live. But that's going to be a really fun panel because they know the game of affiliate marketing. And so if you've ever thought about that, even if you're a veteran entrepreneur, those are the areas that getting back to the basics on a new realm. There's so many different new realms you can delve into.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of affiliate marketers in the ScriptDoll community. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. So that's 11 Central on Thursday, right? In the Facebook group?
Yep. If anything changes, the information, we have a live agenda that anyone can access who's participating in the summit. So if it changes, we'll just put an announcement out there. But right now, that's when that one should take place. Live is a little bit more unpredictable because things always happen. But I think that one's pretty much going to be locked in at 11 on Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love what you said. Like, yes, you don't have to be a beginner to come, because at some point you're a beginner of a different part of your entrepreneurial journey. So we're always beginning something new, a new marketing technique, a new strategy, a new something. So come check out all the speakers, register for the free event, join Mark and me in the CLICKpreneur Summit. Check out the link below for all the details, and we will see you in the Facebook group, right?
Indeed.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us live and ignoring our beginning mess ups. And if you have any other questions, of course, put them in the chat below and we'll let you know the answer to them.
And thank you, Monica.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark. All right. Bye.